Monster High may have buried secrets, but I'm digging up curls, color, and total customization. Today we're taking a budget Clawdeen Wolf doll and giving her a full-on glam lab makeover. New curls, new body, and totally new vibes. Well, not totally new. I love her sleepover look. Hey friends, welcome back to the lab. I mean my doll workshop. Today I'm working on one of my favorite Monster High ghouls, Clawdeen Wolf from the Buried Secrets budget line. In front of us today we have several of the dolls that I have out of box. In front of us the before Clawdeen Wolf, as well as two in their original form. I have one of the 17-inch dolls and three of the dolls that I've made over. The Buried Secrets dolls might be budget friendly, but with those adorable pajama looks and sweet faces, they totally deserve a custom glow up. This is the second of 4 dolls from this line I'll be rerouting, and today's Clawdeen is getting luxe nylon hair in 3 shades of purple with tight 3mm curls. She's also getting a fully articulated body donor, because why not go full Frankenstein while we're at it, right? I'll be walking you through the full reroute process, showing how I prep the doll, apply the hair, and style those perfect curls. So whether you're customizing your own dolls or just here for the transformations, you're in the right place. Let's bring this werewolf back to life in style. When I'm customizing a doll, whenever possible, I like to cut off the pronged part of the neck peg, since its only purpose is to make the head harder to remove. And if I ever want to change the body again, I would like it to be easier to remove. It can be difficult to get the scissors up under the prongs, but it's actually easier when it's softer from boil washing it. I already had the head removed from this doll and had planned on rerouting the head. You can see it's all prepped and ready. But now that this project came along, she's the body donor for this one. Let's shave her head first, and then we'll use boiling water to remove her head so we can start the rerouting process. I have 3 different bags of hair that are from Doll Planet that I'll bring up. I'll show you the name on each one of the bags, so if you like what I've done and you'd like to copy it, you can do it too. I like using the clippers to help remove the hair if you have access to those, because it does help keep me from accidentally cutting and scratching things like the ears when I'm trying to remove hair. Or you could just be more careful, maybe use smaller scissors than the ones I had for removing hair. There's other things that you could do. For me, I prefer the clippers. I find that to be the fastest, most efficient way to get a nice short cut all the way around, making it easier to get the plugs out. So I have Clawdeen with her head soaking in boiling water for my electric kettle. It sat and soaked for less than 2 minutes. You don't want it to sit so long that the water starts to cool. But what I like about using the boiling water method is that it actually softens the prongs inside the head, and you can see that they bend out of the way slightly. When I was using the blow dryer, probably because I'm impatient, I had a lot more neck breakages than I do now. Let's compare our Scared Island Monster High head to her way more beautiful Buried Secrets one. I think you can see why she's getting the body instead of just rerouting another one of the exact same heads I'd already done. At least twice, I think. They were on sale for $8 and I picked up a couple of them. A few maybe. I'm using my flathead screwdriver to scrape the plugs to the inside of the head. I find that this actually works better and is easier. I'm scraping it flat against the inside of the head, the way I demonstrated on my hand there. I find that for me, this works better than using the needle nose pliers. When I use the pliers, you have to use some force while you're scraping, and it's easier while the head's nice and hot from having been removed. Both of those things make it easier and less likely to damage the head and rip open holes. But when I was using the needle nose pliers with force to scrape off the inside of the head, especially when I was a beginner, I would actually poke it through the hole, gouging a giant hole in there while I was doing it. And I found that the flat-headed screwdriver worked better for me. You can see I have the royal purple. It looks like just 2 colors, royal purple and wisteria. I did another project, and that must be the project that I did 3 on. I've also done Cleo denial. I just made a short video out of it because my regular video content for Monster High has had kind of disappointing views. Very, very poor. So anyway, hoping for better this time. Fingers crossed. There's always that first video that does well and attracts the right audience. I think I have currently more Barbie people than I have Monster High people. If I've got some Monster High people out there, speak up, give me some encouragement, because I need it. These projects get pushed to the back, or like with Cleo, I just did it all off camera and shared the finished project as a short. I noticed that just sharing my finished project as a short does pretty well in my video streams. I do need my videos to do well also, though. I think it's more fun to share the whole process with you than just a few seconds, and I hope you do too. I'm using these pliers that I bought from Doll Planet. I got the hair, the needles, and the rooting tool, including these pliers from Doll Planet. I tried using tweezers, and they weren't strong enough to pull the hair out. I tried using regular pliers, but they hinge too high up close to the handle, and so you can't get it open while it's in the head to grab the hair easily. These or hemostat pliers would be recommended since they hinge down closer to the opening where you can open it inside the head better. I have a cup of water here for those last few plugs of hair that are hard to get out. I like to suction water into the head and then squeeze it out. And you'll see I get those last few out. Why? Because I'm impatient and I don't want to sit there and dig after them. When there's just a few tiny pieces, they're hard to see sometimes. And I think I already said I'm impatient, which I am. You'd think that as an impatient person, rerooting would not be a fun hobby for me, but I do find it pretty satisfying. Some of my other hobbies are even more time consuming, like making scrapbooks or junk journals. Both of those things take way longer, or at least as long as making something like this. It's a nice, relaxing way to enjoy my time, to have a variety of hobbies. I'd like to know if you have other hobbies that you enjoy. I think a lot of people enjoy gardening. Photography is a popular hobby with doll collectors. You know, I also enjoy photography. There it is. I've gotten all the hair plugs out of the head, and once that's done, we're ready to start rooting. If we were going to be using a totally different hair color like brown, then we would want to paint the head closer to the color of hair that we're using. Since I'm choosing hair colors similar to what she already had, I won't be repainting her head, so that saves us a step. Curly hair is great for beginners. It's great for anyone. I love curly hair. I don't know why I resisted so long trying curly hair, but I love it. So here is the wisteria color, which is really close to the color that she started with. I'm just going to grab a handful of that out, and then I separate the hair. So there's a few reasons why the curly hair is so much faster than I decided I needed more hair. Why it's so much faster than using straight hair. Because the hair is curly and has a lot of volume, you use about a third of the hair, meaning you're filling about a third of the holes. Taking you about a third of the time, right? Not quite a third of the time, but it takes about half as long. So I think this project took me about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours most, not including dry time. I'm cutting the hair into short lengths because I want her to have a fun bouncy bob of curls similar to what she had before, just way curlier. Since I've got 3mm curls, I'm pretty sure they were using maybe 10mm curls with the polypropylene, but I wanted this tight, cute, bouncy curl. I love it. I was so excited. It was one of the main things I liked about her was the curly hair. And instead of doing something interesting or different, I'm just giving her more curly hair. I'll be interesting and different on another Clawdeen. And this is my fourth custom Clawdeen so far. When I Reroot the hair I like to prepare by adding some clear tape over my finger. It both protects my finger and then makes it easier to scoop up the hair onto the needle. The needle glides easier over this tape than it did over my bare finger. And by wrapping the hair around so that it crosses over, you create a knot when you put the hair on the needle, and then just poke the needle into one of the existing holes. That knot helps hold it in better, I feel, and makes it less likely for the hair to just come back out with the needle, which does sometimes happen. Usually it only happens when I don't really have the hair on the needle right. So for around the hairline, all the way around the back of the hairline, I'm going every other hole. And with all my projects, I like starting on the back of the hairline. And recently I've gotten into where I thought it would be fun to set a 5-minute timer for like root with you for 5 minutes and then root off camera for a half hour. The last time I did that, I missed like recording most of the project though. That 30 minutes, I was almost all done by the time I checked back in. So I set the timer for 30 minutes and then I'll sit here and root with you for a while. I'll speed it up in just a second here. I think that's so fun to watch. And then I'll check back in, after the rest of the half hour has passed, and we'll see how far I've progressed. It'll be far. This curly hair goes so fast. Oh, another thing that makes this so much faster is that the hair separates itself into plugs. I'm not trying to gauge how much hair to put into each plug. Each little strand of curls is a perfect plug of hair. So that also speeds things up. Speaking of speeding things up, here we go. Let's go 5 times faster than natural speed. Okay, 20 minutes have passed and I've set the timer for 5 minutes just so you can see how much progress I can actually make in 5 minutes, and then I'll speed this up again. We can see that it's looking pretty cute on her. It's fun, it's bouncy. Once you've filled in the hairline and the part line, just sporadically fill in whatever's left because it's plenty full already. Once you push the hair back, there's plenty of fullness already, depending on how you plan on styling it at all. I love adding ribbon bows to my doll's hair. But again, just like before, I'm wrapping the hair around my finger so that when I pick up the overlapped hair on my needle, it creates a knot, and then I poke it into, for the most part, every other hole on the doll's head. When I did the front of the hairline, I did fill in every hole along the front of the forehead because I was uncertain whether I was going to pull the hair back or not. And I wanted to make sure it looked nice and full if I chose to do that. You can see on screen that I've used some of the dark purple in various places throughout the head to add more dimension and fun. They did every other along the hairline in the original doll. I kind of look at the original doll and decide if I'm going to copy the rooting pattern. I decided not to. Why don't I go ahead and speed this up, because I love seeing that time-lapse look of things going really fast, especially with the timer over there on the left-hand side. I'll speed this up 5 times normal speed again. While we're watching this, I thought we could have a little chat, and I was thinking with my last doll that I have left, because the Cleo doll I did as a short instead of a full video, I was thinking about giving the Frankie doll a mohawk. I think they would look really good with a mohawk. I really like the hairstyle they already have though. I think that little bob is so cute. I love the band-aid on their nose, the makeup, the lipstick. I think everything about that Frankie doll is so cute. I'd really feel better about it if I found a second one though. If I find a second doll on sale, I wish they would go on sale already, then you might get to see both hairstyles. Let me know in the comment if you're as excited about the idea as I am. Everyone gets a mohawk. It's easier to just cut the hair apart than to pull and yank on it if it gets tangled. We finished that session and I gave myself what was it? It looks like maybe just another 10 minutes off camera. I set the timer for 30 minutes, worked for 10 minutes, and she looks done. Some of the hair was longer than others, so anything that just dangles down extra long, when you hold the head up, you can see it. The hair will just hang a half an inch or more longer than all the rest of the hair. Then I cut those off and trim them. We'll also want to tie the hair out of the way before we use our Fabri-Tac glue. I don't think we need the timer anymore, huh? Since I'm just about done. I can't set it for the time for the glue to set. You want to wait for the Fabri-Tac glue to set at least 2 hours, and I like to check it with a Q-tip. If the Q-tip doesn't stick to anything inside the head, then you can presume that the glue is probably set. Many people recommend waiting overnight. So you do what suits you. Impatient Amy is not waiting. So I'm not recommending that you copy me and be impatient. I always recommend that you be cautious and do what you feel comfortable with. She's looking so good. All right, I'll let her set for the glue, and then we'll meet you back here with her ready to be reassembled and for the reveal. I think the details are so nice on these little sleepover outfits. I like that the little shorts and the asymmetrical design, the way they all have lace and ribbon detail, their little plushy toys, they have cute shoes. The faces are just the prettiest. It's worth it for me just for those beautiful little faces, I think. Let's get her dressed in her outfit, her shoes, get her hand back on. Now that I see the other doll sitting on the left on the budget body, I'm thinking I would like to see her with green hair and then repaint her lips some color, maybe green, something that would go better. Maybe we should do a punk Clawdeen, or the green hair I'm feeling for sure. Maybe I should give her bangs. Do we ever really get Clawdeen with bangs? Maybe I should do Clawdeen with green hair with bangs. Then we could really see the ears, things like that. That would be cool. Let me know in the comments if you like that idea. I might post it up in the community too. If you're not aware, YouTube has a community tab where I post things similar to where you would on Instagram or something like that. I ask people for video ideas. I post pictures and ask questions, do polls for title ideas, things like that. She is so cute in her little outfit. She's posed the way on the table, the way I have her posed in my dollhouse, laying like this, looking up at us with a little bit of bow, pulling a little bit of ribbon bow, pulling the hair out of her face. On one of my Barbie doll makeovers, I learned how to paint the nails, and I love doing that on all of my dolls. I think giving her this purpley blue color will be perfect for her look. And all I do is I use an unbent paper clip, gently dabbed into the paint, and then dab it onto the fingers. If you make a mistake or you get it wrong, it's actually easier to correct. If you wait, let the paint dry, you can just scratch it off with your fingernail. If you're happy with it and you want it to be a little bit more permanent, but not really permanent, you can use some clear varnish or Mod Podge, something shiny over the top on the nails. Dab it on in the same way we do the color, and then that will help prevent it from being as easily scratched off. But nail polish remover would remove all of it quite easily if you decided you didn't like it. I already have this bottle of Liquitex varnish, and that's what I use on the nails, or if I repaint the lips, things like that. Speaking of repainting lips, don't forget to comment below if you think the doll on the left should get repainted lips and what color. She's getting the neon green hair. That's happening. Maybe with black, something like that. I don't know. For sure, green will be involved that matches her eyeshadow and her cute little bathing suit. I've brought all of my custom Clawdeens, all 4 of them, over to the table. So here's one that has 3 shades of golden colors. I think that looks so pretty. And then she has a rainbow high outfit. The doll in the middle, I have 2 of them with micro braids now. I gave her shades of pink that was so pretty. And it just layered itself when I rooted it in like that. Isn't that gorgeous? And she has an outfit from AliExpress that's a Generation 1 or Generation 2 doll. And then same with this other one. It's a original Clawdeen and a dress from AliExpress. Oops. And then she has black micro braids, and I gave her just a couple strands of the pink that I had left over from the other doll. She's kind of loose, but she's super cute. And then here's our new one, our sleepover doll, ready for her pajama party. Somebody's having a pajama party. Maybe it's her. She's the one that came with the cute bed. Oh my gosh, look at her. Isn't she adorable? I think she might be the cutest. Let me know what you think. I know, I love them all. My newest one is always my favorite, but I think I love the curls. I love the curls. Right, if I could rank them, she would probably be first, the golden colored second, oh my gosh, the black third, and then the pink fourth. But anyways, the outfit was kind of hurting that fourth one in the ranking. Here's some still shots. Thank you as always for watching, and happy doll hunting. Don't forget, join me in the community and down in the comments. I would love it.